My name is Reut, as I mentioned. I am the academic head of the Glocal program. I've been with the program for now 8 or 10 or 9 years. We are now recruiting the cohort, the students for the 11th year of the program. And so I've been with the program from almost the beginning. Usually we run the information sessions in the campus, and so we only meet the people that are around us geographically, and it's actually very exciting for us to be able to meet kind of in person now and reach out to people coming from around the world. So it's really wonderful to see you, and hopefully we'll be able to chat a little bit also towards the end. My background is in economics, and I teach a few courses in the program. I was also the internship coordinator, like the advisor for a few years, and now I'm the academic head of the program. What we're going to do now is that I'll say a few words about the program and explain a bit of the structure of the program. Then I'll give the floor to Dr. Jonathan Mervis, who is a wonderful, wonderful lecturer teaching at the program, and we're really privileged to have him with us. And he said he'll come and give us a taste of 10 minutes of things that he's teaching on social entrepreneurship and innovation. We will then talk about one of the most special components of the program, which is the internship, the Glocal Internship, and Yali Anzani, the internship advisor, will explain about that. And then we'll hear from students and alumni that are here with us, and of course have time for questions and answers. We have here with us Naomi Berg. She's our marketing coordinator, recruitment coordinator, and international students coordinator. She is running this event, and she will be in touch with you if and when you decide to continue the admission process. Shana is our coordinator, and she is the heart and the soul of the program. She's one of the most important people there, and she's here with us to answer any questions that you have. You should feel free to write in the chat any questions that you have, and Shana will answer them. Of course, we'll have time in the end, but for you to raise your questions speaking, but you can feel comfortable to just write them on the chat. And we have, as I mentioned, Yali Anzani and Virginie, who are the internship advisors, as well as Shaya Bunchton, who is also a Glocal alumni, and she's in charge of the relationship with our alumni. And she will tell us a bit about what we do with alumni. So let me start. Let me try and share my screen. One second. So, okay. Can we all see? I need one person to do like this or something to say that works. Okay, great. Wonderful. So, the Glocal program has been, it's the only academic program in Israel that teaches international development. Menachem Ben Sasson, who is the chancellor of the Hebrew University, mentioned that it has both the academic excellence and the social heart of the program, of the university. Just in a few words, it is a master level program, right? So if you're here, it's because you're interested in the master level program in the Faculty of Social Sciences at the Hebrew University. The Faculty of Social Sciences of the Hebrew University is one of the best in the 100 faculties in the world. It's located in Jerusalem, Israel, and that means that coming to study at Glocal allows you to learn not only international development, but also about one of the most special cities around the world. We have tours, we have actually even short courses that relate to the communities that are living in Jerusalem and Israel, of course, but Jerusalem specifically. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity to learn about the region and the Holy Land. As I mentioned, it was established already in 2010, and we are now recruiting students for the 11th cohort. That means that we're already quite experienced, and we have the knowledge of how to deal with different situations. As I'll show you later, the program brings together Israeli students together with international students from very, very diverse backgrounds. It has a very strong practical component that I will go more in depth in a minute too. And generally, we can say that all of your lecturers have very strong practical experience and research experience. And when they teach, they really bring their knowledge from the field, very contemporary knowledge, research that is taking place at the time. And we're not only talking about the processes and things that took place in history, but also reality on the ground. Just before I really talk about the program itself, I wanted to explain what do we mean by Glocal, because we teach development in the international development, but we really have a very community-based focus, very local focus. What we believe is that international development interventions will only be successful as long as you can work directly with the local communities, very often disadvantaged communities or remote communities, and only by working directly with them and building an intervention that will be owned by them, serving their needs, this will be the only way of actually creating something that is sustainable. And what we teach you is both knowledge, theory, and tools to work with communities that are different than yours in most cases. Even if you come from a disadvantaged community and you come to study with us, the knowledge and experience that you'll have will make you to some degree already different when you go back to that community, and will help you to get tools and understanding on how to work with these communities. Generally, we are a very multidisciplinary program. Here I put some of the topics that we are taught and are being discussed in the program, but the field of international development is very multidimensional and very, like the fact is that we are situated at the Faculty of Social Sciences and we're not attached to a specific department. That allows us to bring lecturers from business, from economics, from geography, from anthropology, from sociology, from issues that relate to climate and environment, migration, and really this is a very interesting and very diverse program in terms of its curriculum. One of the most, I think, important or unique strengths of the program is its body of students. Glocal wouldn't have been what it is without its students and alumni. What we aim for is to have about 30 students per cohort, and about a third of them being Israelis, a third of them coming from, if you want, developed countries, global north, whatever you feel comfortable with. I feel uncomfortable with all of the descriptions. And a third of which would come from countries mostly in Africa, Asia, Latin America, or Middle East, including, of course, Palestinian students. And it's really important for us to have this diversity. Now, these are not just students because they care about the world. You will be sitting next to students who have done some work in this field and have some understanding and experience of this field. And this will allow you not only to learn about the theory, but to learn from the students themselves about what does it mean to do development in their own country. Okay, the whole idea is that you learn from a very diverse group of students. The program structure is a little bit different from other MA programs, okay? So it's a full MA program in 18 months. In the first year, so we have more the theoretical basis that you study most of your academic credit on the first and second semesters. You take most of your credit and you can choose about 3 electives from a very wide diversity of electives, and the rest are mandatory courses that are both practical in nature and theoretical in nature. The most interesting part maybe of the program is the internship. Students are obliged to take 4 months internships with organizations that work with disadvantaged communities in the developing world. This takes place in the beginning of the second year. And then once you finish this, and Yali will have time to discuss this more in depth in a few minutes, you return for a seminar that brings together the knowledge that you gained during the academic part, right? The first year of studies, and all the experience and knowledge that you gained in the in the internship itself. And this is how you finish. You finish together with these two components. There is an option of studying, of writing a thesis. And if you're interested in writing a thesis and you have good enough grades in the first year, you would be doing it in the second part of the second year after you return from your internship. So these are just a few pictures from student internships, and I'll leave Yali to mention it, just give you a taste of what students do. Just here is someone that was working with women that are in danger of being trafficked in India, and here is a man that was working with the cooperatives of coffee growers in Ecuador, and I'll leave Yali to say more about it, but it's definitely one of the highlights of the program. Now, our focus is very much on the community, very much on the diversity of students. And the third thing is linking theory and practice. So first of all, you learn from other fellow students who are practitioners in the field, okay? Secondly, you will receive different workshops and different courses that relate to skill building, okay? We have courses on program evaluation, on project design, on how to build budgets, how to design websites, and different tools and skills that you need to work in this field. Of course, we have the internship, but apart from that, broadly speaking, we have many different types of collaborations that give opportunities to students, both in terms of consultancy, both in terms of research, doing more monitoring and evaluation, and different NGOs working both in Israel and around the world. We do also support alumni projects in the field, and these are from different types. Maybe Shaya can say a few words when she speaks about that. We don't only study, we also have fun. Studying takes place 2 days a week. It's going to be Sunday and Monday next year. And apart from that, we have tours, we have workshops, and we have events, we have retreats that students enjoy. I have to say, even now in the Corona period, when we moved online, we had also joint meetings online, and students were teaching each other anything from language to different baking, rituals, and holidays, and we were still very much keeping the social life of the students. What do our alumni do? So these are just a few of the NGOs that the alumni work with. Alumni come from around the world and work around the world, both in local organizations, international organizations, or in some instances, they happen to initiate their own initiatives. Again, I said we try to support those both technically and financially. But definitely when we check with our alumni, we see that about 60% of them find jobs in the field. So this is for now, for me. Anyone has any question or something that they want to ask before we move on? No? No? Okay, so I'm really grateful to Dr. Mervis that agreed to join us for a few minutes. I think that we are really lucky that people that care about other people and have knowledge about how to actually use resources in an efficient way, a productive way, a profitable way, are working with us. And Dr. Mervis has won prizes not only over his teaching, but also about different initiatives and social initiatives that he created. And he's teaching one of the elective courses on social innovation and entrepreneurship, or social entrepreneurship and innovation, I'm sorry. And he agreed to give us a 10-minute taste of his lecture.
Okay, everybody, thank you, Reut. It is wonderful to be part of this forum this afternoon here in Israel this morning. If you're in North America or if you're in South America, and of course, good evening if you're on the west side of the world or the east side of the world. I am a lecturer in social entrepreneurship, and in addition to teaching at Glocal, I teach in Hebrew University's MBA program, nonprofit management, education. And I must say, and please don't tell my other courses, this is really one of my favorite courses to teach. And why? Because Glocal students bring the wonderful interconnectivity between, on the one hand, the theoretical, and on the other hand, the practical. I want to start with a story which is well brought down in the literature. There was a village in Africa which had a very serious pollution problem. And women used to go down to the river and they used to draw the water and bring it back. But at the end of the day, even though these women worked so hard, because the water was polluted, it created a tremendous amount of health problems. There was an individual who happened to be in the village, and he witnessed what happened. And he saw that this village was in tremendous crisis. And he came up with a most original innovation of water purification and managed to purify water at a fraction of the real cost, and established a water fountain in the middle of the village with purified water. What an individual. 6 months later, this individual came back to the village to see what had transpired. And those of you who know the story, nobody was using the water fountain. The women were still drawing water from the polluted river 15, 20 minutes away. Now, a few words about this individual. This individual who came to the village and saw this problem was, I believe, an outstanding social entrepreneur. What is a social entrepreneur? A social entrepreneur is an individual who takes responsible for reality and responsibility for solving problems. Many citizens will say the problems aren't mine. It's government, it's other NGOs, someone else. The social entrepreneur says, the problem is my problem, and it is my onus to solve the problem. So what did this individual do? He did what I believe is to demonstrate the core principles of social entrepreneurship. And it's very easy to remember the core principles. And why? Because the acronym CORE are the core. C, a commitment to finding a solution. The individual saw the problem, came up with a solution. The second C, creativity. O, the social entrepreneur takes ownership of the problem and seeks every opportunity to solve it. R, social entrepreneurs realize that they're taking risks. However, have a very keen sense of reality. And E, perhaps most important, social entrepreneurs are empathetic and believe very, very strongly in empowerment. Now, these are the attributes of social entrepreneurship. However, there's a tremendous gap or difference between having good intentions and ultimately to success. So what we do in our course is that we basically walk everyone through the paradigms, ideas, examples of people who've tried and sometimes failed, for people who feel responsible in order to change their region and ultimate society. We will rely on research, we will rely on theory, we will rely on practical knowledge. We will talk about how you create change, how you get people behind you. We will talk about innovation, what the strategies of innovation are. What are innovative methods? How you pay for it. Ultimately, somebody's got to pay for this. These are the issues that we're going to deal with in our course. So I'm sure you all are going to ask me, why did the women who were in the village, who knew that there was purified water, go and draw water from the river 20 minutes away and continue to pollute the village? Now, the first thing I want to tell you people is they were very smart women. They fully understood what they were doing, and they cared for their husbands, they cared for their children, they cared for society. So why did they do it? Well, I promised to tell you all on the first day of class when you join my social entrepreneurship class. And I look forward to seeing you here in Jerusalem.
Thank you, Jonathan. Now we all want to come. I need to make sure I attend the course. Thanks very much. No, I really think that nowadays so many people want to do good things, and so many people want to develop technologies and different new solutions for problems. And really, what we want to teach students is about how to take these solutions and make them relevant and make them owned by the people themselves. And thanks so much for making this very clear. Like, I think your example exactly says what it is that we want students to take from our course.
Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to ask you to excuse me, but I would love to see all of you, not on Zoom, in our classroom, in Glocal. Because ultimately, and I can say as a teacher, there is nothing like the interaction with students who are passionate about things that I'm passionate, who are smart, who are experienced, who basically come to study, highly motivated. What I basically are talking about is the Glocal students. Thank you very much. And later on, looking forward to seeing you here in Jerusalem. Thank you.
Thanks so much, really. Thanks so much for being with us. Okay, so we're very lucky to also have Yali Azani, who is an alumni of Cohort 4, who joined our staff 2 years ago already. And she's one of our internship advisors. And she will share with us what are the Glocal internships and how exciting they are. Please, thank you.
Thank you. You know, hearing Jonathan Mervis, it made me think that even 7 years after I graduated, I still remember the course, and I think it says something about the academic excellency that the professor that we're having. And I want to say Eid Mubarak to all of those who are celebrating the end of Ramadan. So as Reut said, my name is Yali. I am from the 4th cohort. Now I'm the internship advisor. On my second-hand hat, I'm working with asylum seekers and refugees in South Tel Aviv. I'm coming really from the field, and I want to share with you the highlights of the program with the internship program. So what is the internship? I know that Reut was talking about it a bit, but I think that the Glocal program is emphasized the importance of combining excellent academic knowledge with practical skill and hands-on learning. And this is what makes us so unique. And the internship is something mandatory component of Glocal. It's 4 months, full-time unpaid internship, working with organizations. Students are going to the Global South, working with grassroots, within international organizations such as PLAN, CARE International, BRAC. It could be with really a small CBO. What we are trying is that it would be practical in nature, that students will choose based on the relevant background. Depends really on what are you passionate about. If you really want to learn more about public health, agriculture, education, and it needs to be really community focused, as much as with community connection as possible. We're international development, but at the end, the people and the community is the core and the heart of the program, and this is what we are looking at. And I think that at the end, the internship, exciting as it is, it's focused on learning from experience. And I think this is a very humbling learning experience to go and to see and to understand what works, what doesn't work, and to create some kind of sustainable outcomes to the organization. Now, you know, we're talking about the internship and the fourth and the third semester, but actually it's not that you've been thrown like this to the field, and it's a process that we are doing during the whole year. So if we look at the semester that Reut was talking about earlier, so actually the internship starts with the beginning of the first year. We're doing personal meetings, and we have also classes, all the students together. We're trying to identify together, to understand how to map and what exactly is will be the best fit for each student, and to secure an internship, to write together a TOR, and to be prepared to the internship. So it's something that we're really holding during the whole year until you are getting to the most exciting part of getting to the field. So what actually the students are doing when they are there in the field. I think that Reut was mentioning a few exciting things, but I will want to share with you two stories. One of them is of Reut Schwartz. She's an Israeli student. She comes with a background in economics, and she went to Myanmar to work with a small INGO, TAG International. They work in Kenya and in Myanmar. And over there, she worked, because of her background, she worked with communities around entrepreneurship, identifying together with them about local products that they can actually create from beeswax. So she was learning together with them how to create candles, balm. Afterwards, she created the workshops. And I can tell you that after, even till now, the products are being created and sold in the local market. So this is just one example of Reut. And if we will go to another example, Genevieve is a student from the Philippines. She arrived here when she had like a background in communication. She worked in Oxfam, and she worked in refugees. And this is why, for example, we can understand also a process where students are saying, I want to learn, but from a different context. So she wanted to actually learn from the story of Uganda, the unique about working with refugees. And over there, the work and the meeting with community really inspired her to write this kid book. You can see it here. So together with the organization, SafeWord, that supported her in this project, she initiated a child book talking about the unique story of the place where refugees are being living together with the host community. Afterwards, you could see also here, they were distributing the book, they were doing different workshops. Because she's coming with a very strong also skill of communication, she really helped also in doing the training for the local team. I know that afterwards, you know, you have here so many students and alumni, and they can tell you more about the process and the things that they were doing. But I can tell you that for no doubt that this is one of the best parts of Glocal, is actually being in the field, being with the people, and not only learning in class, but actually experiencing in the field. So we're welcome all of you to come and be part of this program. Thank you. And I think that now we have a video from last cohort. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All right, I'll get it up, 1 second.
So you will be able to taste a bit of a life in an internship.
It's like you can get the feel of the internship. See how it feels like.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yali. Okay. Sorry, just a second.
Kenya.
Palestine.
Israel.
Rwanda.
Uganda.
Zanzibar.
Jerusalem.
Morocco.
Ethiopia.
Uganda.
Israel. South Africa.
Ethiopia.
Malawi. Israel. Ramle.
Uganda.
Israel.
Rwanda.
Bagari.
Kitu kuchinate.
Thank you, Naomi. Okay, it's a video created by our the cohort that just finished this year. And if you want to watch it again, it's on our YouTube channel, I think. And I think there is a link from our website. So I think it really gives you a feel of what the internships are like. I wanted to give the floor now to one of our students, Shane Akila from Kenya, to say a few words about his experience and why he came to Glocal and how is it going. Shane, you just need to move the cord away from your head.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so my name is Shane Achila and I am from Kenya. I'm in my second semester, in my first year right now at Glocal. And just a brief history about me. I come from northeastern part of Kenya, and I have my background is in special needs education. And prior to joining Glocal, I was working in with a Swiss-based organization in Kakuma refugee camp, and which in a project that provided skills training to youths both within the refugee camp and the host community. And during my 4-year experience working in that particular project, I developed interest in development. And in my interactions, I happened to have met a few alumni from Glocal who introduced the program to me. And after checking it out, I realized that Glocal was really aligned to my professional, to my goals, and the gender track within the Glocal department and the internship is something that really appealed to me. And so I ended up applying for the course, and I was lucky enough I got accepted. So far, I have enjoyed my learning experience in Jerusalem and at Glocal department, being taught by highly experienced lecturers and who share with us their field experience, and also I find the learning process to be very individualized. The lecturers move with us at the learning is learner students, and the lecturers move with us at each and every at our own pace, which I think has really improved my learning experience. The other thing that I think is that is very striking about Glocal is the aspect of bringing guest lecturers and speakers to class from various fields, including education, climate change, in social enterprises, the private sector, and both in international and organizations. These guest lecturers have been able to bring to our classes real world experiences and different perspective that has been able to build, my basically our understanding of development issues across across the world and in various communities. Another aspect that I think I've really loved at Glocal is the diverse nature of our classrooms. We have learners, students from different countries, America, Nigeria, Kenya, Palestine, China, and through having that mix of individuals has created a very interesting learning environment. We share from each other, and we all come from different backgrounds, which has spiced up discussions in classes, in our classes, and has been very enriching in class. Another thing about Glocal is the faculty. I find the faculty very connected to the students and moving with us, on an individual level, and trying to find, and each and every time trying to engage us to know how we are moving, especially the international students. During this Corona time, we've had online sessions with our faculty just to know how we're moving, how we're going on with the education. And I think that is one thing that has made my experience in Jerusalem very, very, very interesting. I have created friends both within the learning environment and outside the learning environment, and I think those are some of the things that has really made my stay in Jerusalem very interesting. Of course, there's the internship aspect that is coming up. Yali has talked about it, and you've all heard about it. I'm looking forward to go for my internship. The Corona has brought some bit of challenge, but the program is really supportive, and we're trying to figure out how to go about it. I wanted to go to Uganda, but with the help of the program, we're trying to find a way of finding an internship place for me, and I'm really looking forward to that aspect. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Shane. This is really wonderful, and thanks a lot for saying all these wonderful words. If you have any questions, you can write on the chat to Shane, and I'm sure he'll be happy to answer.
Yes.
And of course, we can also be in touch if you want to speak with him or other students. I'm sure we can connect you. And just before we finish, and we get tired already from sitting in front of the screen, I want to give the floor to Shaya Bonstein, our alumni coordinator, who is an alumni by herself, and she will introduce two alumni. Each will speak very, very briefly just about their experience and what they do now, and then we will move to questions and answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Reut. So I am Shaya. I'm the alumni coordinator. We actually have a really big and very interesting network of alumni across the globe. Each one is doing really interesting things in many, many different fields. So it's really great and interesting to be also in this job, but also being in this network. I want to share a few things that we are doing. We have a magazine that alumni are writing every year, each time in a different topic of development. This year we are writing about cities and development, and so the alumni get to continue and research on these topics and share from their experiences and publish it. We also do an event for the magazine each time to launch it. This year it will be online. So you're welcome to join us also. I think it will be very interesting. It will be on the 15th of June on Monday between 6 to 8 Jerusalem time. So just make sure wherever you are that this is the time. We also do a lot of, once in a while, we do meetings of alumni to maybe go on tours, to study. Usually it's in Israel, but we also had a alumni meeting in Uganda a few years ago. So there are many, many things happening. And our network is very active. It's a great way to get network within the development sector, as well as receive some job opportunities across the world. And we have an active group, so another aspect that the program is finished, but we'll still continue to be part of it. As you see, that many of our team are alumni, so it's a really great thing to be part of. So
we'll hear now from
now we'll hear from Tali Groschhaus. She studied in Glocal in 2016 until 2018, and now she's the manager of Israel in Guatemala for the past 2 years, straight after finishing Glocal. So Tali, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone. Hi Shaya. Hi Ali. Hi Ruth. It's really nice to see you. And it's really nice to see so many faces interested in Glocal. So just a little bit about me, and then I'm here for answering questions. So I studied Glocal, I finished Glocal 2 years ago. I decided to study Glocal after I studied my BA in Society and Politics, where basically we were taught about how the system is full of inequalities and lack of justice in many cases. And I really wanted to learn how we can work in this system, within the system, to basically make a better society, a better world, and a more equal one. So that is how I came to Glocal. And I really enjoyed the learning process. I received so many tools that I am using now in my work. As part of Glocal, I went to do my internship in South Africa, in a rural area of South Africa with a local NGO, where I also had the opportunity to put in practice those tools again during the first year of the program. And I started a project that combines education and running, athletics. After I finished the internship, I came back to Israel. I'm from Argentina and Israel, so I speak also Spanish. And when I came back to Israel, a few months after I arrived in Israel, there was an eruption of a volcano in Guatemala. And Israel, which is a humanitarian aid organization, was recruiting personnel to come to Guatemala to support the communities that were affected by the eruption. And so I just graduated from Glocal, and I arrived in Guatemala in the field to start the office, basically. And this is what I've been doing the last 2 years. I started here the Office of Israel in Guatemala, working with the communities and the institutions, the government institutions here in Guatemala. And yes, this is what I'm doing now also. In this, we are working with the Ministry of Education, trying to give the better response in terms of the emergency now, and working also with the communities affected and trying to build and strengthen the resiliency of the communities that we have been working with since the eruption. So that is my story, my short story.
Thank you. So nice to see you after such a long time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tali. Now we will move on to Hannah. Hannah Reiner. She started Glocal in 2017 and finished last year, graduated. And now she's living and working in Geneva as a gender consultant at the International Trade Center of the UN. So, Hannah? Hannah, are you with us?
Hi,
yes.
Sorry, I had to go out of the Wi-Fi. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you.
That's such a classic. Technology has to work once and then it fails immediately. So I hope this is gonna work. I'm like in my 3G, so fingers crossed. I missed half of the introduction, Shaya, but I hope this is the right point to talk. My name is Hannah. I started studying Glocal in 2017. And yeah, I graduated last year. I finished my thesis at the end of the year of 2019. And before finishing the thesis, I had actually already moved to Geneva. And I'm working now at the International Trade Center, which is like a hybrid organization between the United Nations and the World Trade Organization, mostly trying to connect small and medium-sized enterprises to the world market with a special focus on women's empowerment and youth empowerment. And I'm there as a gender consultant, so I'm basically not really working on programmatic stuff, but more working on internal organizational culture, just trying to promote an inclusive organizational culture, especially with regard to gender, but also towards LGBTQI+ inclusion and disability inclusion. I'm happy to answer any questions that come up about Glocal. I think I can only echo everything that Tal said. During Glocal, I learned so many things that were just really, really applicable afterwards. So if you take the course, pay attention to the log frames and stuff, because it's definitely going to come back. And I think I just left the degree with this kind of newfound confidence that I both have the theoretical base and kind of like the critical understanding on how to approach certain issues in international development, but also the practical tools to actually work in the field, whether this is being actually somewhere in the field or in the headquarters of a big organization, like it's my case. I did my internship in Rwanda with a women's organization, the Nyamirambo Women's Center, and I kind of focused on program evaluation with them, which was also really helpful to just, get all the tools that I basically need today in my job. And I think if you have more questions, especially when it comes to all these special offers that Glocal does, I basically did all of them. So I did the gender track, I did the research track, and I'd be happy to talk more about that.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to see you again.
That's so nice. It's like a family reunion.
Yeah,
that's what Glocal is.
And thank you, Shaya, for that.
Thank you.
So this is the end of our planned structure of the day. As you see, we're very lucky to have had wonderful students at the program. And I think really the main strength of the program is the students and the fact that you do many things and learn many things from being together. Do you have any questions?